Hey Ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. Firstly, Happy New Year to everybody. And this is my first video of 2020. It is New Year's Day. I'm having a really lovely last day off work, chilling out. I've got the oven preheated to have some nice food. I'm binge watching box sets and just chilling out. But whilst I've got a bit of time, I wanted to come on to do a walkthrough and kind of first impressions of the last Christmas tarot deck that I received, which is this beauty here, the Tarot of the Alchemical Magum Opus, which I'm really excited about. So I've had the Alchemical Tarot for a couple of years now. Coming up to a couple of years. It was one of the first trips to London to stay with Kelly Bear, and I bought it. And it was one of the decks that I bought there and edged whilst at Kelly's. They did bleed a little bit. I'll show you some of them when we flip the camera. But this deck, I didn't know about its existence until the lovely Marsha from Musings from Marsha showed it on her channel. And I said how much I like the look of it, and Sandra was going into London because this was available from, I believe, Watkins in London, and I think you can buy it obviously from Robert M. Place because it's produced by Hermes or Hermes. I've heard that pronounced so many different ways. As you can see here, I keep going the opposite way for some reason. This camera's doing that now. Hermes Publications, which is Robert's own publishing house. So Sandra was going to Watkins. I think she was getting a set for herself, and she said, I'm going to buy you a set for Christmas, which was really lovely. So, and Christmas is a week ago, so I've had it a week, but this is the first opportunity I've had to properly sit down with a cup of coffee and have a look at the deck. I will probably do it side by side with the Alchemical Tarot. And this is the renewed version, I think, the 4th edition. Yeah, okay, it actually says on it, 4th edition. So yes, the 4th edition. I'd love to have the original. My friend Ian, who's got the crystal store downstairs, has the original, and he often gets it out, and I get to have a look at it, and it's lovely. But any version to have is a great version, right? But this Magnum Opus is the distilled version. So taking, I suppose, the essence of each card and distilling it down. And Magnum Opus, as we know, translates into the greatest work. So maybe from Robert's perspective, he probably feels that this is his greatest work, or that actually it's the essence of tarot, the greatest part of tarot, the greatest work in that sense. I've often heard references to the Philosopher's Stone as well and things like that, but I can't remember much about the deck. I only saw that one walkthrough, so I'm hoping it comes as a little bit of a pleasant surprise as well. So what I'm going to do is I'll flip the camera around and we'll have a bit of a close-up look at this deck. Hi everyone. So as I promised, I will show the Alchemical Tarot as well. I did put them back into order. I love this deck. I edged this, as I said, when I was with Kelly in London. It was one of the first decks I edged. It matches perfectly with the green backs and the green on the inner border here. But as you will see on some of the cards, particularly in the corner, they did start to bleed. I did contemplate trimming this down to the inner border, but actually I think that's probably one of the worst ones. I just thought, well, I can live with that. It's not that bad, but this cardstock in particular did bleed. So we'll have them out. We'll just have a look at a bit of a side by side, because this, the Tarot of the Alchemical Magum Opus, is an iconic edition of the Alchemical Tarot distilled to its essence. So from what I understand, I think we'll just get key symbols in pictorial form in this version of the tarot. On the back we have some similarities, as you can see here, and it's rich with symbols. Anybody who works with this deck, obviously, you know, it's an alchemical tarot. There's lots of symbols within this deck. So let's just have a go trying to find the best way in. Probably here, and without okay, there we go. Oh, the box feels lovely. So it's like a how would you describe that? I suppose it's material. It's like got a cotton covering. It's really lovely. These are stickers, so that it is stuck on top of the box, back and front. But that is a beautiful, nice, sturdy box. I love the way it slides out. Oh, that is quality. Oh wow, the gilded. Did I know that? Had I forgotten? I've probably forgotten. These come out like a dream. We get a little book which has 20 pages, so not an awful lot there, but again, there's books and tomes written by Robert himself about his decks and how to work with them, as well as many other things. Oh, that is beautiful. Beautiful box. 10 out of 10. Okay, so let's have a look at the little book. This is the Tarot, the Alchemical Magum Opus, same as what it says on the front of the box. 2019, so I was going to say it's new this year. Today is day 1 of 2020, so it was out last year. That just feels weird. I'm one of those people who will still be writing 2019 till about March. And you'll see me scribbling out the dates on everything. It takes me such a while to catch up. So yeah, so a newish deck. It talks about his history in August 1987. That was the time when I first picked up a tarot deck. August 1987. I was 16 years of age, and that's just hit me. August 1987. Yeah, I was working at a theme park, and that was when I first got my tarot deck. And he said, I was studying an alchemical image that symbolized the Philosopher's Stone. So as I mentioned earlier, this does pay homage to the Philosopher's Stone as well. I'd been studying alchemy for some time, and I was well aware that the stone was a mystical substance whose creation was the central purpose of the alchemical quest known as the Magnum Opus. So that explains that. Alchemists stipulated that the stone is not actually a physical substance. It is the stone that is not a stone. This is where my mind's going to explode, I think. It is composed of a spiritual essence known as the anima mundi. So that's spirit of the world. Although it is non-material, the stone has the power to transform any substance into its highest form. It can turn lead into gold, it can cure any illness, and it can transform an ordinary man or woman into an enlightened sage. Because it is non-material, alchemists created mystical diagrams that we now call mandalas to portray it. The image I was studying depicted a heart surrounded by a thorny wreath and placed in the center of a cross. The cross-framed images of the 4 elements, one to each corner. This type of mandala is called a quincunx. Quincunx? Quincunx. So that I'm not going to read all of it because there's quite a bit to read here, but that is really, to say this is a 20-page book, that really sets the scene and explains what the Magnum Opus is, what it's in reference to, and how it links to the Philosopher's Stone, as well as Magnum Opus being the greatest work. He's talking about when the first version of the Alchemical Tarot went into print, and then the Tarot of the Alchemical Magnum Opus began when I attempted to redesign the Alchemical Tarot into a simpler iconic form, something like the iconic images found in traditional oracle decks such as the Lenormand Oracle. I get it. I wanted to create simplified images that captured the essence of what each card was saying. I also wanted to make a deck that could have been printed using wood blocks like Renaissance cards. I used only 4 colours, black, white, blue and red, each representing a separate woodblock printed on a parchment background. I found it necessary for the maintenance of alchemical symbolism to add yellow on 3 cards, because the colours each represent an area printed from a carved block. The colours are hard-edged without gradation. Wow. Okay. And then we go into just a sentence for each card. Here we have I suppose that will be, well, it'll be one of the cards as well, but this is what he was talking about the 4 elements represented with the heart in the center of the cross. We have the Ouroboros here as well. So this is his interpretation, I guess, of the Philosopher's Stone, where it says, because it's a non-material, alchemists created mystical diagrams. The image I was studying depicted a heart surrounded by a thorny wreath and placed in the center of a cross. I don't see the thorny wreath, but that's what we're getting here. The cross-framed images of the 4 elements, 1 to each corner. Yeah. So there we have the Philosopher's Stone. And this might make a nice little reference if, well, I say if, I will need to refer to it. The difference with this, I suppose, is in the Alchemical Tarot, we have the title of the Fool, whereas we don't in this, from what I remember. I believe the mages have had their titles removed. You still get 2 of Cups, 3 of Cups, etc. But the mages have had their titles removed, and instead the distillation is down to a key word or words, as you will see. I love this back, so I'm not quite sure what this, I mean, again, this is portraying the elements. You know, you've got your air sign, you've got earth, so, and we have the major arcana represented, so maybe it's a version of that. I love this. Let's go into the cards. Okay, there we go. There's a little way in there. This isn't actually good to use. I thought that would be a nice handy little knife to use, but it's not. Better just to use scissors. Oh, these are beautiful. Oh, I love the feel of the cards. Wow, just have a sup of my coffee. I was expecting them to be glossy like this, and they are not. They are gorgeous. They are matte, very soft, nice thickness, beautiful gilding, as you can see. These, make sure there's none stuck together. Okay. Wow. I am so impressed by the card quality. They feel beautiful. Look at the backs as well. I love that. There's like a faint impression of plants, insects. Really beautiful. All right, so size comparison. I mean, this is a standard tarot size. The Alchemical Tarot is smaller than a standard tarot size anyway. But the Magnum Opus is wider and shorter. It's a nice, small, chunky tarot deck. So we'll note straight away that, well, as well, did I say everything I wanted to say about the backs? Yeah, I mean, they're not reversible, which is fine. I don't read reversals. Oh, and that's interesting. Is that on the backs as well? Yes, it is. So the symbol is there on the backs too. Okay, so you'll notice that for the Fool, there is no number. The Fool is without number, is 0, but the 0 is not printed, but neither is the title. You just get this essence of a Fool. I love the fact though that his innocence is depicted with the closed eyes. Here he's blindfolded. And you see what I meant about the titles. So we'd still get 1, so we know it's because it's not a minor, where you'll see here. So we know it's a major card. I wouldn't say this is a beginner's deck by any stretch, but if you're used to working with the tarot, I suppose it would be in terms of learning symbology and the essence of each of the majors or minors. So I like the fact that here we have materia prima, and we see some of the symbols mapping across. So the hat with the wings, we have this scepter with the red and the white serpent. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit closer, actually. It makes it a bit easier, doesn't it? So we see that we get that coming across. I've jumped to cards. They're not sticky, but because they're new, they're kind of sticking together. Love this. This is beautiful. Priestess of Water. So the High Priestess, you know, you get that element, that watery element as well. The fact that she's one with secrets, like in this depiction here, the finger on the lips, it's just beautiful. And then we have our Empress, who is the White Queen. Now we have the Red King. So let's have a quick look in the book. The Red King, he is air, thinking, intelligence, authority, and the masculine principle. I would like to have known why red is air, why the Red King is air. I mean, here, yes, he is red-headed, and I suppose he does have a little bit, he doesn't have a full-on beard and moustache, but he's got a little, I would have said they're rosy cheeks rather than stubble or something, but I don't know, I suppose red for me would have been more fiery. I think it's because of the gilding that these are sticking together a bit. Listen to that there. Oh, beautiful, beautiful cardstock. The Priest of Fire for the Hierophant. Wow, and we have the same headwear. Our Lovers. Now, in the Alchemical Tarot, we have 2 versions of the Lovers. Everything else in the card is the same, except for here you've got a loving embrace, and with this one they're actually in the act of intercourse. And again, you can choose which one you want to depict or have depicted in your set. But here we have it distilled down to conjunction. Our Chariot. Wow. I like the High Priestess symbol appearing here as well. Justice comes in at 8 with the alchemical deck rather than 11. So it goes more traditional in terms of its numbering. But I love this. The sword balancing the scales. Beautiful. I mean, here you have fire and water. I was surprised that fire and water wasn't represented there. Oh, exaltation for the Hermit. And the Ouroboros that we see in the card there is encircling the Hermit. Circulation for the wheel. Yeah. Wow. I love the elements depicted as we go round, these each swallowing each other's tail, just like here in the original. Here we have the Strength card. Beautiful. The Crucified Serpent for the Hanged Man. The serpent here. Putrefaction. I love that. That is beautiful. Both images are stunning. Distillation for our Temperance card, which is perfect. Again, we have what I always depict as the High Priestess, that feminine energy, that intuition. Oh, beautiful. Coagulation for the Devil. And that's interesting because here, I mean, we have a two-headed human and the devil is depicted as this fiery dragon, but here we actually get like a personification of the devil. I could see what he was trying to do in terms of having it very much sort of like Lenormand style with just a simple image, and it's greater dissolution for the Tower. Absolutely. I'm really liking this. I'm in a bit of a quandary now because I said I was going to work with the slow tarot throughout January, but I'm having such a pull towards this deck and wanting to work with this deck because it's, I don't know, there's something that's really appealing. Baptism for the Star. Oh, look at that. Lapis albus. It's perfect, isn't it? It's everything it needs to be. Oh, look. The greater conjunction for the sun. The sun rising above and over the moon. Resurrection for judgment. Oh, this wheat growing out of the cracked skull, as we see here. So we've just taken that part. And I suppose he's used red because he was using those 3 colours. Although he did say it introduced yellow. So I'm not quite sure why he didn't introduce yellow there, but it's not needed. Here we are. Here we have that Philosopher's Stone, Lapis Philosophorum, Philosopher's Stone, which we talked about when we looked at the little book. So whilst I've got the little book, let's have a look then here. So Lapis Philosophorum, this is the Philosopher's Stone, the red elixir of healing, and the essential 5th element, composed of the anima mundi, the soul of the world, the good and inner guide, the attainment of our goals. The attainment, guys. So card 21, the world, the attainment. I love how it's referred to as the 5th element. Here we've got the 4, then we have the Philosopher's Stone. That doesn't even take form. Okay, and now I'm not going to have these in order because I didn't know what order this was going to come in. So we're going to coins first, which is at my end. I always put pentacles last. No particular reason. Probably just the order it came in the first ever tarot book I read. Nothing more profound than that. Oh, and we have our little hare who's made it across. This is a beautiful mandala. So the coins rather than pentacles. On here we just have the symbol as well for earth and the ace. So ace of earth, 2 of earth. Here we're using coins. Yeah, very in keeping. Although we've ditched the sun and the moon, but we're distilling down. 3. I'm actually really loving this deck. There's just something about going back to basics, isn't there? Yeah. I'm very Marseille in the style of the coins. I don't mean how they're positioned, but keeping the same pattern through the suit. Look at that as well. The 6 of coins, you know, 1 giving, 1 receiving. That discernment. Oh, I like what he's done there. So here we have the 5 coins, the 7 coins, the 7 coins, but we have the association at the side, the female and male, etc. 8 of coins. Beautiful. Oh wow, we've changed genders. This has always been a very powerful and striking card for me. But I love this. So we've stuck with Lady for the quartz. Here she is actually smelling the flower. You have her appreciating them here and appreciating it there through the senses, looking, I suppose, smelling. We have Knight, Lady, Knight, and then we have Queen and King. Wow, one of my favourite kings in this deck. Ah, oh, beautiful. go into our cups. There's quite a difference there, isn't it? I love the representation here. So we have earth, and we have this diamond, we have air, we have the clouds, and we have fire. Wow. And of course, cups also being represented, but those three elements join in the cup suit. I hoped we would keep the little elephant. He also appears in the Sevenfold Mystery, Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery, which I adore. I prefer the Sevenfold Mystery over my Alchemical Tarot, but at the moment I'm really, really loving this. Yeah, that nurturing. There's our 8. All the tools here. Wonderful. So what do you think, guys? Will you be able to read with this deck? I know a lot of people, when I've talked about Robert M. Place's decks, whether it was Sevenfold Mystery when I did Throwback Thursday, or when I've talked about this deck, a lot of people have not struggled, but found it quite complicated. But here we've got a version of it that seeks to you know, distill it down to its essence so that it's not complicated. Does it work? That is my question, I suppose, to you guys. A beautiful queen. Oops, love that. We still have this whale with a crown and the cup. It's actually blowing the water into the cup on this one. There's the King of Vessels, and of course we've got King of Cups here. So even though we had a change, because they're not named until you get to the courts, the vessels, it's been taken back to cups. So let's look at the swords. I love this. Oh, look. It kind of reminds me, when I see a face and a heart like this, it kind of reminds me of the Solar Busca. But here we just have this single weeping eye, weeping blood onto this blood red rose. But you get the essence there of that hurt. Four. Third eye activated. 5. Sorry about the background noise. My phone constantly pings day and night with notifications, messages, as you can hear. 7. Love this. this creature here, it's shackled though, but it's still kind of shackled here within the Eight of Swords. Nine and Ten of Swords. Wow. I wondered how they was going to depict that. I mean, this is such a powerful image of all Ten of Swords cards that we're used to seeing in the Rider-Waite-Smith system. Of somebody looking, you know, beaten. This is pretty intense. And this one's going right through the skull. There's Our Lady. Swap to a violin. Knight. Queen. And now King of Swords. This beautiful eagle. We have the air symbol there. And we go to batons. So it's really taking it back almost to Marseille style titles. So our ace, very simplified little creature there. The male, the female energies, we've got the Ankh there. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, the 5 burning fingers. I love the, almost like, as it said, the parchment kind of background to these as well. It may, on the matte finish, it just makes the images really sharp. This deck is exquisite. There's our Phoenix. So it's staffs here, but we've gone back to batons. The Knight. The Queen. That's interesting. She's got the Statue of Liberty type of crown. But this one's now turned upside down. Oh. And then we have our King of Batons. Wow. Okay, so that is the Tarot of the Alchemical Magnum Opus by Robert M. Place. Beautiful, beautiful deck. Absolutely stunning. I cannot convey how nice these cards are, how crisp the images are, and I bet they shuffle. Oh, they shuffle like a dream. They really do. They're a lovely size, so they'll be wonderful to lay out. But this cardstock, it's a bit oh no, I was gonna say it's a bit like New Choice, or this might hurt, but oops, but it's not. It's, I don't think I've come across cardstock quite like this. It's similar with its feel, but oh, we have our Knight of Cups. Wow. Let's guard our emotions. Be brave, be valiant, the rescuer. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts. And until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.